Hari Om Tat Sat. Benefits of Sankirtan. He who does Sankirtan forgets the body and the world. Sankirtan removes Dehadyasa, identification with the body. It brings super intuitional knowledge. Tukaram was an agriculturist. He could not even sing, he could not even sign his name. He was always doing Sankirtan of Lord Krishna's name, Vittala, Vittala, with symbol in his hands. He had darshan of Sri, Lord Krishna, in a physical form. His inner sight, Gnana Chakshu, was opened by Sankirtan. His inspiring Abhangas are a text for MA student of the Bombay University. Wherefrom did the unlettered, illiterate Tuka derive his knowledge? He tapped the fountain of knowledge through Sankirtan. He penetrated into divine source through Bhav Samadhi that was brought about by deep Sankirtan. Does this not clearly prove that God exists, that the Swarupa of a God is knowledge, and the Sankirtan has tremendous influence in attaining this knowledge? Sankirtan brings darshan of the God, or attainment of a divine consciousness in this Kali Yuga. Sankirtan develops love. Sankirtan is the easiest, surest, safest, quickest way for attaining God consciousness. Those who do Sankirtan in the beginning of the sake of a mental enjoyment will realize the purificating effect of a Sankirtana after some time, and then they will themselves do it with Bhav and Shraddha. There is a mysterious power in the name of the Lord. Man cannot live on bread alone, but he can live on the name of the Lord. The harmonious vibrations produced by the singing of the names of the Lord help the devotee to control their minds easily. They produce a benign influence on their mind. They elevate the mind at once from its old ruts or grows to magnanimous height of the divine splendor and glory. If one does Sankirtan from the bottom of his heart with full bow and prem, even the trees, birds, and animals will be deeply influenced. They will respond. Such is the power of influence of Sankirtan. Rishis and Siddhas visit the places where Sankirtan is held. You can see brilliant light all around the pandal. How it brings about these beneficial results, how it brings the devotee face to face with God is now explained. Jivatma or the individual soul can become one with Paramatma or the Supreme Soul only through the process of evolution and ascent through different rungs of the spiritual ladder by means of a Nada Upasana. Nada is of two kinds, Stula, gross, of expressed Anata, and Sukshma, subtle, or unexpressed Anahata. The former lead to the latter. The samyoga, or the union of a prana with anala or fire in the human soul, is indispensable requisite if the individual soul wishes to unite with Parabrahman or attain the highest nirvikalpa samadhi. The fire or Agni of the Mooladhara represents the Ra Bija. It ascends to the meat prana from the Mudra or Brahma Randra, which represents the Yama Bija. The combination of Ra, Ma is the Taraka Bija by which the individual soul crosses to the other soul of a fearlessness and immortality and attain eternal bliss and supreme joy. Sankirtan is an easy approach to the Sukshma Nadi and eventually to the divine communion. The Antakarana is made up of subtle matter, the subtle elements of a rudiments of matter. Tanmatra go to constitute Antakarana. The mind is formed out of air, Tanmatra. Chitta is constituted out of the water, Tanmatra. Ahankara is formed out of the earth, Tanmatra. The subtler the element, the more powerful it is. Water is more powerful than earth because it is more subtle than earth. Water moves earth away. Fire is more powerful than water because it is subtler than water. Fire dries up all water. Air is more powerful than fire because it is more subtle than fire. Air blows away fire. Ether or akasa is more powerful than air because it is more subtle than air. The air rests in akasa. Akasa is the support for the air. Air is born of akasa. Fire is born of air. Water is born of fire. Earth is born of water. During cosmic pralaya, the earth is reduced or dissolved into water, water into fire, fire into air, and air into akasa. Mind enjoys the five objects, vishayas, the barrier that separates man from Paramatman or the Supreme Soul is the mind. These five subtle elements earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which go to constitute the body of Antakarana, are the five dacoits who have plundered the jewel of Atman. Akasa is the ringleader. If you control Akasa, if you can subdue the ringleader, the other four elements or dacoits will come under your control. If you can control the five elements, you control the mind very, very easily. The function of Akasa is sound. If you can sing Hari's name in a sweet tone with the rhythm and harmony, you can control Akasha Tattva and thereby the other elements and the mind. Therefore, Sankirtan helps the aspirant to control the mind easily and thereby attain God consciousness. Lord Hari is immensely pleased when one sings his name. Melodious music soothes the nerves. In America, doctors cure disease by music. Shakespeare says, "The man who hath no music in himself, nor is moved by the concord of a sweet sound, is fit for treason, strangen, and spoils. The motions of his spirit are dull as night, his affections dark as Orpheus. Let no such man be trusted." Mark the music. The mind is purified by constant Sankirtan. It is filled with good and pure thoughts. Daily Sankirtan strengthens the good samskaras. The mind of a man who trains himself in thinking good, holy thoughts develop a tendency to think of good thoughts. His character is molded and transformed by continuous good thoughts. When the mind thinks of the image of a god during Sankirtan, the mental substances actually transform into the form of the image of the god. The impression of the object is left in the mind. This is samskara. When the act is repeated very often, the samskaras gain strength by repetition and tendency. A habit is formed in the mind. He who entertains thought of divinity becomes transformed actually into the divinity himself by constant thinking and meditation. His bhava and disposition is purified and divinized. The mediator and the mediated, the worshipper and the worshipped, the thinker and the thought become one and the same. This is samadhi. This is the fruit of Sankirtan or Upasana. My dear friends, do Sankirtan daily. Disseminate Sankirtan Bhakti far and wide. Develop Vishwa Prem through Sankirtan. Establish Sankirtan Mandalis everywhere. Bring Vaikunta on earth in every house by doing Sankirtan. Realize your Sat Chit Ananda state. Hari Om.